Hello, it's a pleasure to have your company tonight, and this is what we have coming up tonight. Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina is currently in Rwanda for a 3-day state visit. The head of state was received at the Kigali International Airport on Sunday evening by Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta. According to the Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Nsanzimana, the government of Rwanda plans on quadrupling the number of graduates in medicine and nursing within 4 years. The Sustainable Development Report 2023 on the implementation of the SDG goals filed by the United Nations demonstrated that Rwanda is among the top 10 countries in Africa in achieving these Sustainable Development Goals. I'm Olive Nete. This is Rwanda Television coming live from Kigali. A warm welcome to the news in details. Let's start by informing you that Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina is currently in Rwanda for a 3-day state visit. The head of state was received at the Kigali International Airport on Sunday evening by Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta. The visit of President Rajoelina comes following President Paul Kagame's visit to Madagascar in June 2019 to attend the country's 59th anniversary celebrations. In February that year, both countries had signed a cooperation agreement focused on investment, and it is expected that during this latest state visit, more cooperation agreements that include several sectors will also be signed. Moving ahead to other news, according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Nsanzimana, the government of Rwanda plans of quadrupling the number of graduates in medicine and nursing within 4 years. He reiterated on this during the graduation ceremony of the University of Global Health Equity, which awarded 46 students from 13 different countries a master's degree in courses related to health. We have details of the story. Graduates are from various majors, namely gender, sexual and reproductive health, health management, and the One Health program. And these programs were studied within a period of 1 year. Students who earn their degrees say that they are ready to make a contribution to the health system by dedicating their efforts to improving healthcare services and delivery.
As we stand on the cusp of a new chapter, I want to urge us all to remain conscious of the power our education holds. It is a power that can be wielded to uplift the marginalized, to give a voice to the voiceless, and to bring about lasting change. Let us never forget the responsibility that comes with this power, for it is through our actions that we can create a world where quality health care is not a privilege, but a fundamental right. As UJHE has taught us, it requires collaboration, empathy, and an unwavering belief in our shared humanity to bring about real transformation.
I've learned how to appreciate the strength that comes from uniting individuals with different skills, experiences, expertise, and backgrounds towards a common goal, global health equity. I've also learned how to apply evidence-based and field-tested managerial functions in managing complex programs and organizations. These lessons have not only enhanced my ability to work effectively in teams, but have also deepened my understanding of the importance of inclusivity and collaboration in the field of global health.
Dr. Joel Muwirigi, the acting vice-chancellor of the University of Global Health Equity, appreciated the efforts and hard work of the graduates. He also pointed out that the world is in need of people with knowledge ready to contribute in addressing current challenges.
I encourage you to make a difference with your education as you walk out into the world. Make use of your ability to solve difficulties. Use your brilliant minds to become change agents, driving innovations and improving healthcare systems worldwide. Make use of your knowledge to help others. Use your enthusiasm to motivate others to join you in improving people's life.
Dr. Sabin Nsanzimana, the Minister of Health, urged graduates to use the knowledge gained in making positive impact in the health sector. He additionally pointed out that the government plans to quadruple the number of health professionals.
We are going to quadruple our current healthcare workforce. Quadruple, 4 times. From 1 to 4. But there's another factor. How long? For how long we are going to do that? Will it take 105 years? Because that is also quadrupling that number in a time, bringing it the shortest time possible. So we put it into a period of, guess what? 4 years. 4 years on average, because this is the minimum time, using our energy, our efforts, our creativity, the things we've done that seemed impossible. This is Rwanda. Rwanda can do it. But what is important is not the money. It's the idea, the commitment, the enthusiasm to go, and the unity, the teamwork that we're going to make it happen.
Among the students who completed their degrees, 22 of them are women, while 24 are men. The Global Health Equity University, which is a medical university, has been operating in Rwanda since 2015. Its branch at Butaro was officially inaugurated by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Kagame, in 2019. This university has recently been ranked 8th in universities located in the sub-Saharan region. Now to matters related to agriculture, the government of Rwanda says it is committed to increasing the country's grain storing capacity, most especially maize, so as to increase the country's food security. In an interview with RBS, Jean-Pierre Kagabo, Rwanda's Minister of Trade and Industry, Professor Jean Chrysostome Gabitsinze, also said that the country is looking to import as much as 200,000 tons of maize to supplement the 600,000 tons grown locally by farmers every year.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your time. So, time being, I learned from expert in economy that among the three things we need to invest in when it comes to storage and the warehouse, maize has to be taken into consideration. So, I want to ask you how far been in doing that, how far prepared to help the country to have the required quantity of maize in the warehouse.
That is true. It's true because in last years we observed the increase in terms of consumption of maize, but even an increase in terms of the demand from the population, including our country. And then we observe, because of shocks we have shocks from COVID, and then the war in Ukraine and Russia, countries tend to protect, and then the shortage can cause problems in the countries, including our country. So one of the strategies to increase the capacity to store in our country enough quantities in order to stabilize the price. So the government has a plan to increase the capacity we have today, but even to increase the productivity from the agriculture side. So what we are doing today is just to restructuring the way you have been sourcing maize through EX, usually is in charge of commodity exchange for our government. We want to have a more investment on that and more capacity to store, but even to include private sector to increase the capacity they have in terms of storing, because the processing side is increasing. As I have said, the consumption of maize today became a food of every day for many Rwandans and even for many Africans. So the challenges are there.
Compared to the maize production so far, what is the gap? How do you analyze the gap?
Thank you. Usually when the season is good, we can arrive at 800 metric tons. Today we count between 615 and 800 in terms of production in season A plus season B. So when you see this consumption side, we have a calculator, and you saw if we can have additional 200 metric ton minimum, we can cover the demand, but we want to go more 200 in order to secure in case we can have an increase in terms of demand.
Some countries have been hesitant when it comes to let their maize being exported. This is informed by the shock you have mentioned already, war in Ukraine, COVID-19. Where do you expect to get this production of maize you are looking for having?
Yeah, thank you. That's true. Countries are protecting their maize. Because, as I have said, maize became a consumption of every day for many people, many in our neighboring countries. But through our bilateral and multilateral agreement or collaboration we have, for example, Tanzania has been kind to give us some quantities, as you have said, 25 metric tons, 1,000 metric tons. But we have even a contact for Zambia, and
that is 10% when you see.
Yeah, that is 10% of the 200, even less than 10%. But in terms of even supply, we must make sure that we don't buy everything on time, everything as many as we can. when we don't have enough capacity for storing. But we are even in contact with other countries like Serbia, as I have said, in Europe, they have a good quality of maize. So we hope after the structuring of EX, we have more capacity and then to supply from our friends countries.
When it comes to storage capacity, how are we prepared as the country?
No, it's an investment. It's an investment. There's the first investment from government, of course.
The capacity so far, and how do you want to increase that capacity?
The capacity to increase it is to breed new or construct new silos, mainly for maize, and of course for other grains like maize and rice as a government, because we have already a certain level of capacity, but because of the extraction we are doing, we need more to store more. So that is being done between us and the Minimbesa and the Minagri, the paper and the Minecofin, of course. The paper is already ready. Then after that, we will be sure that we can have a long-term strategy in terms of having a storage where we can make sure that Rwandans will never miss maize in their tables.
Given the demand, maize demand, how do you collaborate with the Minagri to make sure we're increasing the maize production?
Now, as a government, of course, the Minagri has a mandate to increase the production, not only for maize, but even for other crops. But as a Minicom, Minister of Trade, we have a joint team to work mainly on production, Minagri production, but supply side, Minicom. So we work mainly together, but the government has provided the subsidies in order to make sure that Minagri can be able to afford the increase of production through distribution of fertilizers, improved seed, and mechanization. So the program is there in terms of increasing the production, but you have to be quickly and to work together to make sure that the production will increase, because importing is another thing. If you can substitute through increase of production, will be better even for prices.
When you get the money for buying those quantity of maize you need?
No, it's from one side is from the government, another side is from the private sector, because we are in collaboration.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Moving ahead to other news, the Sustainable Development Report 2023 on the implementation of SDG goals filed by the United Nations demonstrated that Rwanda is among the top 10 countries in Africa in achieving these sustainable development goals. Rwanda has a score of 60.2%.
Sustainable Development Report 2023 ranked Rwanda 106th out of 199 countries with a score of 60.2%. At the top are the countries from European and Asian continents, and on this African continent, there are 9 countries that came in front of Rwanda, whereas most of which are in the northern, while others are sub-Saharan countries. Pamela Mudetikwa, a former worker of the SDGs Implementation Institute, pointed out some of the challenges found in the implementation of these goals.
The world will not be able to achieve all the 17 goals by 2030 because the goals were affected by mainly COVID-19, the Russia and Ukraine war, and also the climate change. So I think it will be really hard to confirm that it's possible to achieve the goals by 2030. Especially goal number 1, number 2 were very much affected. No poverty, zero hunger, because with COVID and the wars around the world, I think the poverty rates increased with, problematic access to food.
In establishing political measures to help the country in the implementation of these goals, Rwanda reached up to a total policy score of 55%, whereas in the reforms that are being carried out leading to these goals, as the transformation score is at 53%, which seems to be close to the cooperation with the international organizations, which monitors closely these goals at 73% of multilateralism and coordination of activities in general. Ladislas Ngendahimana finds that Rwanda's culture of finding homegrown solutions is among of the things that will help it to achieve some goals.
umuntu abashije kubyumva gutyo yabasha kujyana umwana we mu ishuri akumva yuko hari intego y'iterambere yagejejeho.
When you try to understand like that, by the time you can be able to take your child to school and you think that it's another step of development achieved, or protect the environment by either cutting one tree and plant two, all such things are considered in their sustainable development goals. So this requires a conscience of Rwandans and Africans to understand that they have to play a vital role in creating homegrown solutions than expecting the foreign aid to achieve these goals. Ozonia Ojielo, the UN resident coordinator in Rwanda, knows that the countries should change the way they are working to achieve these goals and find a unified solution.
The UN Secretary General has recognized this. In September this year, he has called for an SDG summit. And at this SDG summit, he's asking every member state that comes here to come with a plan. What do you plan to do to accelerate the SDGs? In the context of Rwanda, the good news is that despite these challenges, Rwanda is trying to cope quite well. You know, the government even went to the extent of trying to help create conditions for reduction of prices of many products. So it shows that the government is aware of how people feel this impact. We now need to reform our educational system, focus on human capital development, but you want to do it taking a multi-sectoral approach. You know, in the past, you know, we have education, we have health, we have nutrition, we have social protection. All of them are important. But the money to implement all of them is not there. So what do? You take a human capital development approach. A human capital development approach allows you to bring education, health, nutrition, all of those together. And then you will say, if I add all of this together, there must be something, a thread that unites all of them.
They're just remaining almost 7 years to reach the end of the 17 sustainable goals by 2030. However, 18% of the 199 countries concerned by these goals are in good position, which results that there is a hope of achieving them, whereas 15% of the other countries are still lagging behind, and 67 of those countries have no hope of achieving those goals the world has set. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the report. Now to health matters. Residents living near the border of Rwanda and Uganda in the Gicumbi district say that the health posts that have been established nearby have assisted them to access medical services easily. However, they request the establishment of pharmacies in the area so that they can get medicines that are not provided by the health posts, since this remains a challenge. Take a look. The Katuna Health Post is a few meters away from the border of Rwanda and Uganda. Patience Musimenda is a resident from Uganda whom we met at the health post. I reached the hospital to seek medical care. I wasn't feeling well. I had a lot of contractions, but it vanished completely when I got here. Before the establishment, when we would be in need of medical services such as giving birth, you would have to cross on the other side to seek those services. But since we have it, it helps us a lot. Some of these health posts that were established near the border of Rwanda and Uganda, most of them has a higher capacity in terms of providing medical services comparing to others.
The Katuna Health Post is among the second generation, which means that it has an additional services to those that other posts don't have. Includes maternity services, dental services, among others. All those are in addition to other services we provide, such as treating other diseases, family planning services, and antenatal care services.
This has highly resulted in no resident staying at home ill or crossing illegally to seek medical treatment in the neighboring country. However, residents say that some medicines prescribed are not provided by these health posts, yet they do not have any other pharmacies nearby to get the medicines prescribed. They therefore request the establishment of a pharmacy at the border.
We do not have pharmacy in this area. When medicines provided at the health post are not there, it requires us to cross to Uganda, and you buy the medicines in shops, not in appropriate pharmacies. We therefore request for an establishment so that we can get access to medicines not found at the health post.
Emmanuel Nzawanima, the mayor of Gicumbi district, points out that they are currently looking for a sustainable solution to this ongoing issue.
This is an opportunity to the private sector, be it in private clinics, private pharmacies, and so on. This is a responsibility to take into consideration the requests of the residents by finding pharmacies that can assist them, by starting with the private sector, because people nearby are in need of those services, and we believe that we can work with them to establish pharmacies.
So far in Gicumbi district at the border of Rwanda and Uganda, 19 health posts have been established, all of which are used by the people to get medical services nearby. These are in addition to about 75 others in various sectors of the district. Moving ahead, residents who live in Kinigi Modo village in Musanze district say that they are concerned with the issues of the rainwater that penetrates in their houses. Adam Squizera with the report.
2 years ago, residents relocated to the Modo village of Kinigi, including 147 families who are living near the one and only Gorilla's Nest Hotel. In those buildings, the residents who live in the upper part says that whenever it rains, this rainwater penetrates down to their homes and damages their furniture.
It's an issue to be living in such a house, and you spend the whole night awake due to rainwater that penetrates in our houses.
The WASAC employee in charge of building in Musanze branch, Mutuyemungu Evod, noted that there are things they are going to solve, especially those related to the management of water meter use. Till now, residents living there were informed about their debits they have in WASAC. Then regarding the issue of water meters that are not in their respective positions, we are planning to visit them and see how we can fix those issues. Musanze District Mayor Rumuri Janvier knows that they would work with different authorities to solve those problems that are in Kinigi village. The constructions and the installations of that village came from the contribution of different authorities and institutions. That's why, for us, what we need is that in the coming future, all those issues will be solved. In order to solve in a sustainable way the problems that found in the Modo villages, the Ministry of Local Government stated that the measures have been taken, as explained by Nsaimana Vedast, who is in charge of the Modo villages in this ministry. In the issues that was found, as I mentioned, there was poor management of the projects that was set in those Modo villages. And the other thing that is going to be done to solve such issues is that there will be a special budget dedicated for them. The same way we committed ourselves recently as the Ministry of Local Government that there will be a budget which would be allocated for the places needs it, hence to improve the well-being in those villages. The complete of this Modo village of Kinigi costed more than 20 billion Rwandan francs, including other various infrastructures aimed at improving the community's well-being. The management of the reserve force that built this Modo village in the northern province says that the renovation activities, especially for the roofs, are about to kick off, which will cost more than 100 million Rwandan francs. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
And on behalf of the entire news production team that helps us prepare this for you, thank you for staying loyal to Rwanda Television. See you next.